Lesson 1.5, dividing integers. Again, on our 7NS2 scale, you can see right here, we're working on dividing integers with that skill of dividing. We'll also do a little bit of work down here with order of operations and real-world problems, basically meaning, again, word problems. But today, focusing on that dividing integers. Here we go. Same sign. So just like we did on our previous lesson with multiplying, we use the same concept where we ask, do they have the same sign? And where we've seen them have the same sign, the answer is positive. We're very familiar with that here in the beginning one over here, where we've been dividing with positives this whole time. So we see 20 divided by 5. 5 goes into 24 times. So the answer is 4. From there, again, they're the same sign, so that's the math we've been doing for a while. When we go over here to the right, we'll start with 32 divided by 4. Whether you need to count up by it, count by 4s, however you need to get there using that mental math, we're going to get 4 goes into 32 8 times, and now that's where we ask our question, do they have the same sign? And since they do, our answer is a positive 8. Just like over here, this was a positive because they both are positive. When looking at two numbers, when they both have the same sign, it gives you a positive 8. Then today, we're talking about dividing. So though we're down here and looking right here at this guy, need to remind yourself that this just means dividing. So this line means to divide. So we have a negative 18 divided by a negative 3. Again, starting with the math, 3 goes into 18 6 times. And then we ask our question, do they have the same sign? They do. So it's positive. Just the same over here, 14 cut in half, 14 divided by 2, where we're saying how many times can 2 go into 14? The answer is 7, and we've been doing that math for a while, so we know that one's positive. So if it's helpful, use that as your check. Since these guys are both positive, they have the same sign, and you get a positive answer. When you have the same sign, when two numbers are negative, you get a positive answer. Just like we did before, now today we're dividing. So again, in class, I usually have you between slides somewhere on the paper write down our question. So we're talking the same thing today. We ask that question, do they have the same sign? And if we say no, then that's where we get this negative answer. Or I say no means we get a negative number. Down here, again, start first, divide them out. How many times can 6 go into 42? What's 42 divided by 6? That gives you the answer 7. And then, do they have the same sign? No, they do not. So your answer is a negative 7. Please note, I need to see all of that on your assignment, though you can do it mentally. I need to see the original problem as well, including that 7. So not just the negative 7, the original problem all included. Please note, if I bring 0 cookies to divide up amongst all you guys, you get 0 cookies. So anytime you take 0 divided by something, you're going to get the answer 0. Again, down here today, you're going to see some fractions. Fear not, they're not fractions. It's just dividing, where you take that negative 22 divided by 11. Again, 11 goes into 22 2 times. Do they have the same sign? No. So it's a negative 2. Again, all of this needs to be on your assignment. Don't just have that negative 2 there. Show me the work. I need to have evidence that you can divide your integers. Don't just write down the number. Same thing here. 21 divided by negative 3 gives you 7. Do they have the same sign? The answer there is no. And then down here in this little space for today, I'm going to have us add an example on in. In class, I have someone make up a number or just give me a number, but I'm using the number 12. So I'm going to take 12 divided by 0. If I had 12 pencils and I handed them to you and I asked you to put them in groups of 0, you can't do that. If there were 12 people in class and I say, today you get to work in groups, but you have to be in groups of 0. Please get into groups of 0. You can't do that. So when you try to divide something by 0, you can't do that. You get no answer. And that's something that you have to be very careful of. That's different. If I bring 0 cookies to share in class with 24 people, you all get 0 cookies. But if I try to break 12 cookies into groups of 0, that can't be done. That's no answer. So be very careful. If you ever have a number divided by 0, that gives you the word no. So that's no answer, no solution. You can't do that. Whereas up here, if I wrote it as a fraction, we have 0 divided by a number, that will give you 0. So on works, that's ono, ono, that'll work. But if you try to divide by 0, you get no. So you cannot divide by 0. Make sure we are aware of that. That's a common thing that comes on up. Now, on our book assignment, going to tie in a few things of reminding of substitution as well as recalling to add and subtract. So from here, you don't have to use separate colors, but I'm going to use it so you can see that A is a -8 plus B, substitute that in for a -6. Now we're adding two negatives. So you borrowed money and you borrowed money. You still owe Mr. Walls money. It's a -24. Going to do a little bit of review and tie-in of 7NS1 of our adding integers. From there, don't make the answer magically appear. You need to write out this original expression in your notes and then substitute in. When we go over our assignment, be very careful. You'll notice that we'll put in a -18 here. Don't put in the other number. You do all that lovely work and get the wrong answer. From here, again, simplifying, we're going to see that we have a -18 plus a -6. It's not 24, -24. I like your thinking. That gives you a -12. If you'd like to rewrite it so you can see it all in one line, you can do that, but you don't have to. That was enough work up here for me, but a -12 divided by 3. Again, 12 divided by 3 gives you 4. Do they have the same sign? No. Then what type of number do we need? We need a -4. So again, don't make that final answer of -4 magically appear. I need to see the original expression, substitute the value of A in this case, and then show me a little bit of work. This right here with that crossing out and telling me that's -12 is enough for me. Please note here when we talk about b squared, we're going to start right away with b squared. That one is a -6 squared. So in the previous lesson, we talked about how that has to be in parentheses. And then you've got, now you put down your A of -18 plus 4. If you need the reminder, cross this off. This is not -6 times 2. This is a -6 times a -6. So 6 times 6 gives us 36. Again, I'm going to write that down here so we can see it. Do the negative and the negative have the same sign? They do. So then that leaves us with a +36 divided by a -18. Now I'm going to rewrite it all so we can see it on one line. Focusing in down here on this guy. Again, I'm going to simplify this. You can just cross it off like this and tell me that that's a -2. That's enough work. If you really want to rewrite it, you could do that as well. So you can see you got a -2 plus that +4, which does not give us 6 or -6. Gives us a +2 for our final answer. Again, today talking about specifically our 7NS2 with dividing integers, but here working on a little bit of 7NS3 where we tie in word problems with our operations. In front of you, you have it, so might as well circle it up because you can do that on any of these papers that you have in front of you, like a notes or a worksheet. So circle up, high tide is 57 inches. Underline 6 hours later that the tide is now at 12 inches. So I'm going to circle that up. What is the mean hourly change? Interesting. Could you please put down that the word mean means average? It's so mean to have to find the average because when your math teacher says find the mean, it's really mean because we really want to see all the work of adding up all the numbers, not just getting us the answer, but all the numbers added. Want to see it. If there are 10 numbers, I have to see you adding 10 numbers and then divide by 10, how many there are. Here with hourly change, what is the mean hourly change in height? What is the average height change, or however they phrase it? Make another note to yourself over here as well, that when they want to find the average change or the mean hourly change or the change in height over the time frame, do the amount of change over time. This is how we're going to find the average change per hour. Change per hour. So up here, again, a couple ways to do this. For the video notes, going to just take it where we started here. We're going to take 57 minus that 12, and that took how long again? Well, up there in the word problem, we underlined that it was 6 hours. So then we can simplify this, whether you want to add the opposite or get it down to 45 divided by 6. And here I like to say 9 and make a mistake, but it is not. Careful. Kind of a preview of next chapter. How many times can 6 go into 45 without going over? 6 can go into 45 7 times, because 6 times 7 is 42. Take that away from the top, and we're left with 7 3/6, or 7.5 inches per hour. So the mean hourly change was 7.5 inches per hour. Tying in a little bit of 7ns1 with adding and subtracting, as well as using our 7ns2 with dividing. Notice again, that's what we're going to focus a lot on our assignment today, is the dividing. We also have to be able to do this, so be very careful. Why is dividing by 0 undefined? Because you cannot divide by 0. Something cannot be broken into groups of 0. It doesn't work. It's undefined, or it has no answer.